I'm John McCabe and I'm Chief Executive at North East England Chamber of Commerce. It's been a really difficult last few years for businesses, having come out of the pandemic, having worked so hard to remain resilient and trading through that period, to be just emerging from that and recovering from that and then getting into such a severe cost of living crisis is proving a real challenge for business in so many different ways. And what we're finding is that actually the cost of living crisis and the cost of doing business crisis are actually two sides of the same coin. So when we all are familiar with the cost of living crisis and the pressure on household bills, but there's increasing cost pressures on business too. So it's a really difficult time for business and we've got to do all that we can to support them through this period. Supporting workforce through cost of living crisis is absolutely critical because without people there is no business. But one of the issues that we have, particularly here in the North East, is that something like 25% of our adult working age population are currently considered economically inactive, and that means that 1 in 4 adults in the North East are neither in work nor looking for work. So we have to identify what the barriers are to get people into jobs and try and remove those barriers wherever we can. That could be, for example, the cost of childcare might just be too prohibitive for people to consider returning to the world of work. So we've got to do what we can to ensure that the economy is as open and as inclusive as it can be to allow more people to play their full part and reach their full potential in life. In terms of sector specifics, it's a really difficult period right now for manufacturing, in particular with energy costs being as high as they are, and unfortunately government support for energy costs is in decline. So it's a particularly difficult time for manufacturing, particularly energy intensive manufacturing, but also businesses that rely on international trade, so to get their products and services overseas and to bring in raw materials and supplies that they need to produce their products or to carry out their services, that's increasingly difficult as well. So trading conditions generally for manufacturing are really quite difficult right now, and a lot of our manufacturing members in the Chamber of Commerce are telling us that actually they're running at something like, in some cases, 75 to 80% capacity. The market is there for them, but because they can't get the staff to fill the vacancies that are out there right now, they just can't run at full capacity. So that's a particular issue for manufacturing. It's really important for businesses to have a competitive edge when looking to recruit right now. It's a challenging recruitment market in that something like 25% of our adult working age population are currently economically inactive, so we know that there are vacancies in the economy right now, but for too many people it's either too difficult or just not a good life choice to be returning to work. So we have to do what we can to make the world of work a more attractive proposition for more people. Employers across the North East are doing some really great and innovative things to ensure that they're not only paying a fair wage, but they're also offering flexible working, for example. They're also offering support with cost of living. So again, in the Chamber of Commerce, we've been producing, in partnership with many of our members, toolkits to help employers support their workforce through the cost of living challenge and helping point people towards advice and support if they are facing really difficult, challenging times at home. So these are all just added value, added extras that employers can offer to employees right now to just make their lives that much easier. Employees are increasingly looking for not just good and fair pay, of course, that's really important, but also very clear career development opportunities. We have to make sure that we here in the North East are offering people the very best opportunities, not just to carry out their careers, but to live and to learn and to work and to play in this region. Those of us who are lucky enough to do so know that this is the best region in the UK to do all of that, but we've got to make sure that we make that opportunity available to more people. So it's really incumbent on employers to play their part in ensuring that that flexibility and those opportunities are available to as many of their staff as possible. Investment in workforce is probably the single biggest and most important investment that any business can make, and particularly in the current market where the labour market is as challenging as it is, and we're all facing the costs of, not just cost of living, but costs of doing business challenges. So it's really important that when you have great staff in your team, in your business, that you reward and recognise them in order to retain them. It's so much easier to retain good staff right now than it is to go out and attract new staff. So it's really important that employers do all they can to provide the very best possible working environment and conditions for their staff. The first thing I would say in terms of the business support that's available out there is be part of something bigger, be part of a network. And for us, of course, that means be part of North East England Chamber of Commerce. Come and join us, and we can help support your business through these really challenging times. So we can point and signpost other sources of support to businesses. For example, the North of Tyne Combined Authority has all sorts of grant funding available to businesses to support them in so many different ways. So the support is out there, but it really can be challenging for businesses sometimes to identify where to go to get that support. So something like the Chamber of Commerce can really help point people in the right direction.